Howdy, and welcome back to the podcast. Today we have another guest, a new guest. I keep on saying that every single week. I'll probably come up with something to open the shows differently in the future. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But today we have Mr. Ben Adena, and Ben owns a company here in town. He's an independent trainer, or I would probably lean more towards calling him a strength and conditioning coach. More on the S&C side, a little bit more data focused, and definitely an intelligent human being. So thank you for blessing us with your time today. It's hard to get you in here. We've been trying to do this for a while. So thanks for being here,
A couple years
man.
now, right?
It's been a couple years.
Thanks for having me, man. I know you never gave up on that, so
Can't
big
give
ups
up.
to you. Consistency.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
So-
sir. I appreciate it, man. So how'd you end up in Vegas?
To be closer to family.
Okay.
Also, growing market. I think at the time the Raiders just got here, and so growing market in terms of opportunity. Usually, when pro sports teams come, it can be very beneficial for strength and conditioning coaches as well.
So you are already practicing your business or practicing being an S&C coach outside of here?
No, I did not. So
Tell me more.
I was actually being a trainer at a corporate gym.
Okay.
Moved out here, started at 24 Hour Fitness. Did that for a couple years, and then COVID happened. COVID changed a lot of things in terms of like 24's business structure, but it also changed things in terms of people wanting to be in gyms, right? And so a lot of my clientele, I had a full schedule at the time.
Damn.
40 sessions a week, 40 to 50 sessions a week.
Damn.
So that's 160 to 200 sessions a month, right? And with that schedule, that's a
rough
busy schedule.
Yeah.
COVID hit, and that wiped out, I want to say 85% of my clientele. It was the older population. People were scared to go back into gyms at that time, and I had to pivot. So I sat down. I was like, you know what? Let me. Had a couple of athletes on roster. They came home from school too, or whatever they were doing, and they're like, "Hey, I'm shut down for the season. I need to train." Pivoted to parks at first.
Yeah.
Trained at a garage gym, someone's garage gym at the time.
Nice.
Very lucky to be in there because they were very nice enough to not even take a cut from that. Shout out to David.
Damn.
I don't know if you remember David from the Talk Shop. I think he was sitting behind you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So David's garage gym, he let me train in there for I think a good 4 or 5 months without taking a cut. And eventually I was just like, you know what? Let me pivot into athletics. Let me pivot into strength and conditioning. Let's double down on that. Got results with one athlete. The ball rolled. 2 more came. Killed it with them. More came. Killed it with them. And then next thing you know, I'm here.
Damn.
So I'm very, very lucky that I have a full roster of athletes that trust me.
At what point did you decide you were gonna niche down in basketball?
I played basketball in high school. I've always watched basketball. I love the sport. It's a lot different when you understand how that sport operates too, also from a strength and conditioning standpoint, right? You understand the demands. You know what it's like in the locker room, and all those kind of things. You know what kind of schemes are going on. You understand those things, and when you bridge the weight room and everything, that really bridges the gap a little bit.
How
Right.
often do you think basketball athletes use the gym?
In terms of weights,
Yeah.
it depends. What demographic are you looking at? What age group? You're looking at the
Let's-
kids. You're looking at the pros, right?
Let's say
Because this is a whole debate.
Yeah, it is it's a big debate.
It's crazy.
So I guess let's start. Where's your main population now?
So right now, when everyone starts training, right? Everyone starts training athletes. I feel like everyone wants to train the pros. Everyone wants to train the pros. But then I realized that Vegas is a pro market a little bit, but when you look at business structure and revenue, and you start to really look at the numbers, the pros leave. And so when the pros leave, where's your revenue coming from, right? And I realized the high school athletes are the ones that could potentially stay year round, as long as you really harp on, hey, this is what real training looks like. Real training looks like year-round training. You just got to be bought into the process. And to those that have bought in these last couple of years, you kind of see the results on that, right?
Yeah.
So,
what is your training philosophy? Like, how would you categorize, or how would you like? What is your perception on how people should be trained?
man, and you could tell me about yours too, right?
Yeah.
Like mine is essentially, I think at first when I was starting off, like, okay, you gotta do this versus you gotta do this. This is wrong. This is right. But I've learned that everyone is essentially right and everyone's essentially wrong at the same time. Everything's so contextual, right? So for me to say like I stick to one philosophy, I don't really do that anymore, just because every human is different, and how you train everybody is different, right? I do stick to certain things for certain scenarios, but I like to see it as like, let's say you're going out for the night, right? You go to one event versus a different event. You're gonna wear different clothes for one event versus the other event, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how I kind of look at training, depending on who's presented in front of me. Let's say I get athlete A, how this person would benefit so much from this concept and principle, versus athlete B, this person would benefit from this concept a lot more. Why try to hammer this concept if they're not going to respond well to it, right?
Yeah.
So that's how kind of I approach everything. Is everyone's different. I'm going to train the person, and whatever works for them works for them. Luckily enough, I've been able to just learn a ton in these last few years, right?
Where are you getting your information from? Because and what are the biggest differences between a big box gym and a niche S&C coach?
Mm-hmm. Big box gym trainer?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think from your experience, right?
Well, so I'm gonna come back a little bit. I'll tell you my philosophy, and then I'll answer that question,
Okay.
right, before we leave it. So,
Yeah.
I would say my philosophy is very similar. I think that people are all unique, and so and I think it depends a lot on personality. If you are somebody who likes to work really hard, and I give you too much. Too aggressive of a prescription, then I can potentially like really harm that athlete.
Yeah.
And then the person who maybe doesn't really want to work, if I give them too much, they either maybe get deflated by what they're seeing, and then be no longer bought into the program, or they try to match the intensity that is just they just don't want to, you know. So it has to be unique to the individual. I think that overall, I follow like a very I like undulating periodization programs. It just like gives me happiness inside, because I think I'm able to mitigate some recovery. So I would say a lot of undulating stuff, and then a lot of understanding like proprioception is my biggest thing. So like, do you know what this cue means, or what that does or doesn't mean?
100%.
And so making sure the athlete understands the language as much as possible, and then we can build out anything around that. Like most of my clients are more like business owners. I have a couple athletes, and then like the general pop, right? So for Gen Pop, like I want to lose weight. And then 6 months later, I want to get strong, or I want to, and so like you kind of always have to adapt versus the athlete who is like kind of dependent on the schedule that they're on. So if they're a basketball, like what does the season look like? What does recovery look like? And then what does postseason look like, right? Their schedule's kind of dictated for you.
Yep.
And so paying attention to the athlete, listening, and then I take from a lot of different tools. Like sometimes we use German stuff, sometimes we use American more style.
Yep.
So it kind of just depends, but I pull from a lot of different places.
100%.
Yeah. So what's the biggest difference between box trainers and S&C guys?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I'm gonna go first. All right. So oh man, that's a good question. Who asked that? I did. I think sometimes a con for the S&C guy is that they stick to the book rather than just meeting the trainer where they're at, or meeting the coach or the athlete where they're at. Versus the big box person is probably like, we're here to have a good time and hang out, so they're more likely to meet the person, right? with that, the S&C person probably pushes a little bit more aggressively and looking for those aggressive goals versus the big box maybe like will lack on those things because you want a good relationship to extend for a long period of time. But at the same time, their performance doesn't result in you getting necessarily more like more money, if you will. So like if my athlete does really well and then now they're in the NBA, then yeah, like there's a big, huge potential for that, not just for that athlete, but for me. And then on the other side, like they're a little healthier, their quality of life is improved, but not much change happens. And so I would say those are some pros and cons, I would say, for each individual and how they differ. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the SNC they're stuck with, I wouldn't say stuck, but they're given a team. They're given the individuals, right? It's a set number of athletes, and you're responsible to grow those athletes into better athletes for at least a whole year minimum, right? It's a little different now because everyone's transferring everywhere. So who knows if this person's going to stay 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or stick it out, right?
Yeah.
So their approach is a lot different in terms of that, because you got guys that work a S&C job at a college or an NBA level or just any professional level. You don't know when the guy's going to get traded, or you don't know when the guy's going to transfer out or just not want to play anymore or declare for like the draft, right? So I think from a relationship standpoint, it's a lot different than the big box person. The big box person, that athlete essentially looked for you. They're training with you, they trusted you, and I think the relationships could be long term, more than likely, because unless something happens, right?
Yeah.
But you have more autonomy to, like, the big box person has more autonomy to handle that athlete than whether they're with a team, right?
Definitely.
'Cause
Which
with a team, there's boundaries, there's rule sets that take place. There's probably things you can't say, things like that, right? So I think that's the biggest difference for me.
very much so, like stuck in a lane because, like what if a coach doesn't like that kind of
Yeah.
thing? And so you're like, well, all right, well, we can't do these things because of this, right?
Yeah.
So these are the things that I can use that are in my toolbox until I can educate this coach enough to like, okay, see kind of this perspective here. Or you don't know when your job's going to go because the coach could get fired
instantly,
and then you're
but then
gone.
you're gone too, right? So that's key.
That is big
which
difference.
is scary too.
Very scary. I mean, did you ever want to work in that setting?
I didn't. Maybe if I was younger and started as a strength coach right after, like if I wanted to be a strength coach right after high school. But no, I knew right away that the private sector was really for me, and this is where I needed to be to make a positive impact, honestly.
How have you found so many athletes, or how did they find you at this point?
I honestly don't know.
Nice.
I'm lucky. Like I always say that I'm lucky and blessed. Honestly, man, like everyone harps on like programming and all these kind of things, but like the one thing I always doubled down on was I'm gonna give the best service. Best service as in I'm always checking in on you. Maybe be annoying about that, checking in on you, making sure you're good. I'm going to go above and beyond in my service. So if you expected this, like expected results this way, I'm going to raise the bar and raise the standard and make sure I do a good job for each person, not just, and I see this going on a lot, is they make sure the best player is taken care of, but just making sure everybody from top to bottom on my roster is taken care of, making them feel like, okay, you're the star player too, right? Just making sure that care is up there, and next thing you know, like if you produce results and uphold your standard, people start talking, and when people start talking, that's like the best way to get people to come to you. Honestly,
Referrals,
not social media, not not going out and going to events, that can help. Not to say it doesn't help, but word of mouth really is like the biggest driver to me.
I would say word of mouth is consistently the best driver.
Easily.
I don't think social media. I had somebody in here not too long ago who was doing like $1 million a year for S&C stuff. A private guy and mainly just online, and it was. His was all referral based, and some social media stuff. He's like, "Oh, you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you have to. These are the way you're going to do your posts." And I was just like, "I don't know."
That's rare.
Yeah.
That's rare because the online space referral based doesn't happen that often, right?
Yeah.
It's through ads and marketing and pinpointing things, right? So he got something good going on there.
He does.
If it is referral based.
Definitely.
That's crazy.
Do you use a lot of force plate data? Yes.
Yes.
When did you start incorporating that?
Oh man, I want to say 22.
Okay.
2022.
Why?
I got introduced to it to a course. I saw what it could do. I've always used the jump mat to measure, but I always knew through training and trial and error that there's certain ways that you can look at things to figure out what exercise fits in with this person, an athlete, or what exercise you can use to create adaptations. So I started diving into force plates, and I think at first I thought it was just a way to see the data, but eventually what it's helped me in is, okay, I'm gonna prescribe a certain program, or I'm gonna prescribe a certain pair of exercises, and I'm gonna apply it to a specific athlete based on their profile, and then over time I'm gonna see these kind of changes, and so these are changes that you don't see in research sometimes, right? These are things that you see within your own training, and so that's how I got better as a trainer. Okay, my method is, my principles are working, or the way I train is working. Let's stick to that. This works way more efficiently than this process. We're gonna lean towards this process. Or 4 weeks down the road, this didn't change much. We need to adjust, right? And so that's really why we use force plates, is for the programming itself. Like, yeah, like, it's nice to show the athlete, like, hey, this is where you improved. This is where like things got better. Like, let's keep at it, right? And for them, it's very validating to see that progress. But from a result standpoint, it was very nice to see, like, okay, we did this. This worked. Or we did this and this didn't work. Let's toss this. And over time, over the past 4 years, it's made us a better trainer as a whole. So,
I think force plates are super neat, and they seem like they're becoming more consumer based. Like, there's all sorts of different tools, but you have like real force plates. You don't have you have some good stuff.
Yeah.
How often are you testing? Like, you have force plates, we have wind gates, we have all these different tools and testing techniques. Which ones are you using in accordance with the force plates? And then how often do you test?
So we use bald force plates. I think them and Hawkins are the two that lead the industry in that. We test, so it depends on the athlete and, like, I want to say access to them. So force plates are obviously portable. Certain athletes we test every week, beginning of week, just to see how they're jumping, not just improvements, but fatigue index. And then if things start to get flagged, we'll test them end of the week, because we know by end of the week they're more tired, right? Yeah. They gone through practice in season, they gone through weights, they gone through all this. So to be able to monitor that, that's how often we test. Or we test some athletes once a month. They don't come in, maybe they don't come in as much, or we just feel like we don't need to test them as much. But we don't want to go 3 months down the road and say, okay, this person hasn't improved, or this person is dipping down in force production, or this person's starting to get an asymmetry, right? Usually the ones that are good, we kind of know, like, through the weight room stuff. Like, okay, this person's getting stronger, this person's looks like they're jumping higher, they're looking good on the court. Maybe we don't need a test. So it really just depends, right? And we'll sneak our test in session. So let's say they go through warm-ups. We'll have them jump in between a block instead, just to sneak that in instead of going, oh hey, we're gonna test today and we spent 30 minutes testing and then let's go work out, right?
Yeah.
It's just okay, go bench and then go jump, right?
That's cool.
Easy.
Yeah. Good use of time.
Good use of time.
Yeah. How long are your sessions typically with athletes?
50 minutes.
50 minutes.
50 minutes. 55 minutes.
Why? How?
I book by the hour. If we do things efficiently, then we can probably get through that block easily. I like to say 50 minutes, 55 minutes because I need 5 to 10 to either like check my phone between sessions or use the bathroom or send an email or reply back to people, right? Team setting stuff, it'll probably be 50 minutes depending on the team, or if it's a whole team that's pretty new, we'll try to do an hour and a half because there's a learning curve. But once that team knows like its structure, then we'll
pick up the pace.
Yeah, we'll pick up the pace. Easy.
Damn, you're moving.
I'm moving. Yeah, I'm moving. If an athlete has something like past the 50 minutes, it'll be something like tricep extensions or bicep curls, something you can't screw up, or like get on this machine. This is your sets and reps. This is your weight. Go do them. I'll see you next time. Good job today. Type of thing.
Do you use what athlete monitoring system or tracking system do you use? Do you have one like a Trainerize or Coach RX?
We have exercise.com.
Exercise.com.
Yeah. So me and my team, I got 2 guys on my team. It allows me to see their schedules and my schedule too. But it also allows the athletes. I think this was the biggest thing, especially with kids, man. They don't know when they're training half the time.
Yeah, fair.
So they started texting me like 10 at night, dude. Like, hey, what time am I training tomorrow? I'm like, dude, check the app. Check the app. It's on there, bro. But yeah, it just keeps everything organized, man. Everything from like scheduling to session count. And I've had, and you know this, like they buy a 10-pack, 10 sessions, right? And then I say, hey, you got 2 more on the package. And they're like, I thought I had way more than that. And then this thing allows me to say, here's when you did 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, right?
Keeps everybody honest.
Keeps everyone honest. And it fights the whole he say, she say.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
I like that. I don't really deal with a lot of that anymore. I don't think because I don't really like to sell big packages. Like because I'm gonna lose track.
Yeah.
Like personally, I'm gonna lose track. So like now I just started taking like 6 months, like the kind of contracts, but like I had never.
You
done
do
that.
6-month contracts.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What's the longest time someone has trained with you? Like, what's your longest client right now?
Right now, well, I moved from Texas here, so I lost a lot of my clients.
Got you.
I lost all my clients, right? And like pretty much everybody.
Exactly.
So I think right now 3 years is what I have with my client. With the longest, I think the longest client I have right now is 3 years. Yeah.
That says a lot to you, right? That they've stuck it out.
Everyone
6
sticks
months.
around.
So do people drop off in between that 6 months? What happens?
Typically, no.
No.
I pretty much if they do, it's like, oh, I have surgery or I had whatever, and it's like, okay, like then I'll extend out the 6 months. Yeah. Like it's no pressure. Like I don't really care. Like you got to take care of you.
Does that push people away? The fact that you say 6 months?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. And it's usually not like the first thing I ask. It kind of just depends on the relationship. But like, I'll like, okay, this is what it is. This is the monthly. Do you want to move forward? And then they're like, yeah. And so we do a month or 2 and say, okay, how are like, this is, now you get a better idea of this is the relationship. Like, now do you want to just go ahead and do 6 months? Like, I'm just going to offer you a small discount if you want to go ahead and move forward.
100%.
If not, like, then, we can keep on doing this. Like, it's 100% up to the client.
Yeah.
For some people, it's better to pay at the end of the year so that they can write it off as a tax benefit. So we label it as executive health coaching, and then they get to go ahead and take that to the CPA, and they can use it as a write-off. Yeah. So
That's
you can
cool.
get like lump sums at the end of the year. Helps and hurts you to some degree at the very end. But we also do, like, we donate to Alzheimer's Association. We have like nonprofits that we'll work with. And so we try to like offset some of that stuff with the nonprofit work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool, man.
It's fun. It's a fucking hell of a learning process. No, most people don't stay in this industry.
100%.
So the fact that you're still working in here is pretty
Blessed.
fucking cool, man.
Do you know what the cutoff is? Like what year?
No, what is it?
What people survive at?
No.
I don't know either. I assume it's 18 months.
I would probably.
I would think 18 months.
Yeah, because it's hard. I mean, I think I started having some people come on and we were coaching them, and it was like, oh yeah, I finished my undergrad in exercise science, and I was like, okay, great, or like biology, whatever, and it was like we're starting from scratch sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know anything.
Yeah.
How? Like
what people don't realize is these things take time. It takes time to build a clientele. It takes time to get your name out there, and if you're not consistent with that, you gotta make something happen. And I think a big gap in our field is I think these certifications or these degrees, they give you the science to how to train to a certain extent, but they don't teach you the business side of things. And so when I mentor some trainers, right, I tell them, look, you're a good trainer as good as you are on the floor. If you're not training, you're just as good as the next person that's not training.
Yeah.
Because people don't get to see your value. And so getting clients and teaching people how to get clients, I think, is a miss. It's like a big gap in this field. And that's why people don't survive, right?
If you don't have anybody to actually make progress on, and then you don't have anything to eat, it gets old after a little while,
You're stuck.
Yeah.
So how'd you build up in Vegas?
I started at a big box. I started at UFC Gym, in Silverado Ranch, and when they hired me, they're like, "Why are you wanting to work here? Like
you're overqualified.
You're overqualified as fuck." And I was like, because I'm new to town and I need to meet people.
That's exactly what I did, right?
Yeah.
24-hour fitness got me a certain clientele. Then I realized if the ones are gonna follow me, which a lot did eventually, right, over the years. And so yeah, that's really important. You got to be in the right places to meet people.
I think even like we started doing, I think this helps. We've gotten some clients off of doing the podcast. We've gotten clients from doing the nonprofit stuff. Like we try to stay as active as we can in the community. And I think that allows us to continue to like grow, but it is not easy. Like it takes all, because you assume, you look at a trainer and you're like, oh, they're working with clients. And it's like, well, I'm building the business to work with the clients. Like it's a lot of extra hours that people don't see. Plus all the time that you spend actually like writing a program. Yeah. Do you spend a lot of time writing programs?
Yes. I mean, I have a system where this is the layout, and then I change this. I take this out, put this in, depending on what we see with the force plate data, range of motion stuff, all those kind of things. But yeah.
How do you test for ROM?
Table tests.
Nice.
A lot of table tests, a lot of movement analysis too, depending on sport.
How much do you use like video content?
Like those gait analysis things?
Either a gait analysis or even like to go back and like work with athletes. Like are you recording sessions and like movements often or not so much?
From time to time. So let's say it's a return to play person. We'll definitely record just to see. And then every once in a while we'll get those update like videos, right? Yeah. And then it's nice to go back and see for ourselves if things are changing, because sometimes our eyes can be biased, right? Sometimes I also bring in another coach or another trainer on my team, and I'll have them look at the video, or like not the video, but the gait or like their movement stuff. And I won't tell them like, hey, left limb was injured like the last 8 weeks, or right limb was injured the last 8 weeks, to see if they say anything. Yeah. Because sometimes if I know left limb is injured,
then I'm looking for it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so if they don't say anything, then we've done a good job rehabbing. If they do say something, okay, then we still have some work to do. Yeah. But also compare it to the force plate data. Like it'll tell you if there's asymmetries. If there are, you got to figure out what's going on between foot, knee, hip, right?
What are the most common asymmetries you find with your basketball athletes?
Basketball, like to a super detail.
Yeah.
Foot pronation. I think, and it took me a while to kind of pinpoint this, and hip internal rotation, because they're both related, right? What I found was, I think the main source of that is a lot of defensive sliding. A lot of kids don't. It's different than football, because football, like, I don't know if you've been to like practices for football. They teach you how to move, for the most part, how to decel, how to sprint, how to do those things. Not to knock on basketball, but basketball, they just tell you wide feet, get low, stay low. They don't tell you the detail of push off with your big toe when you're sliding one way, right?
Damn.
They don't tell you keep your knees in or out, right? They just tell you get wide base, get low. And so I think what happens with a lot of kids is, if you're looking at the foot, a lot of kids path the least resistance. What are you going to do? You're going to push out with the outer side of your feet. You're going to get there with the outer side of your feet. And so from an adaptation standpoint, foot pronation goes out the window sometimes.
Damn.
And basketball defense is half the game, right? And so if you're always on the outside of your foot and you don't get in the weight room or you don't do anything to get foot pronation, guess what happens? That duck feet happens, right? Yeah. Duck feet happens, knock knees happen, then that hip changes everything. So that's the biggest compensation I've been seeing, and it's happening at a younger age now, which is crazy.
Why? Because are people specializing earlier?
Because people are playing more basketball earlier. More and more basketball leads to more specific movement patterns. You don't go to another sport. And so that's not to knock, like, you shouldn't play one sport. If you play one sport, you should be getting a different dosage of things, either in weights or in practice. Like, and I think that's where the ball's dropped.
Variation is important. And I think if you have like a middle school coach,
mm-hmm.
they're focused on, like, I don't know what they're focused on, winning games and shooting, right? Like, let's get shoot. And so then all the kids, that's all they're focused on. And then they never worry about pronation, or the coach never teaches.
They just don't know what they don't know. People don't know what they don't know, right? And it's no knock to them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're still, as a strength coach, or the way I see it, we're responsible for finding that information.
I would agree.
If you want to be top tier.
If you want to be top tier.
If you want to be top tier.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So internal rotation, pronation, and then what kind of lack in force production do you see, or rate of force development, if at all?
It depends on the athlete.
Okay.
Honestly, man. We've had some kids that are very bouncy without even touching a weight. And then we've had some kids, okay, you need to hit the weight room to produce more force within that certain window, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is that I catch is kids get too bouncy from jumping all the time, but then the engine, their body can't support that force that they produce, or that twitchiness. And so that's when you get patellar tendonitis, or that's when you start to feel the Achilles. And that's when things become problematic, is when you're too explosive for your tendons to handle those demands, right? One thing I caught was athlete produces, in a counter movement jump on the force plates, they produce a certain, like, crazy amount of force, right? And we found that a lot of athletes, if it comes from the hips as the main driver, then we isolate them on some knee exercises, like a leg extension. Let's say they got a 40-inch vert, but then leg extension weight is only at 20 pounds, single leg.
No.
Right? They can't.
Damn.
They can't.
Wow.
They can't extend. They can't move that weight with it's crazy. And so that's why their knees hurt. It's because that tendon isn't as strong as it should be, right? And so we spend time bringing those numbers up, and then over time, the tendons adapt and get stronger, and next thing you know, their knee problems are gone, right? That's just one example of why things happening.
Force plate data is important, you know? Yeah.
Exactly.
And then testing, right?
And
testing.
And reverse engineering things. Like, because I could easily go, you produce a lot of force on the force plates, you're strong.
Yeah.
But if you don't pinpoint where that strength is coming from, for all I know, it's coming from the calves, right? If you don't pinpoint that, then that's a problem too.
Damn.
In itself. Yeah.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
What are the most common injuries in basketball?
Ankles, knees.
Ankles and knees.
Yeah.
No hip stuff?
I think ankles is the
probably
the top. Ankles the top for sure.
Do you have to do a lot of rehab stuff with your people
We do a lot.
or prehab?
We do a lot of preventive. One of the questions I always ask somebody is, when's the last time you sprained your ankle? Do you tape your ankles? Blah blah blah. And I tell them if they do tape, you can still tape for now, but eventually we're gonna go away from that.
Why? For those that are wondering, why? What does that mean?
I'm gonna put the ball in your court.
No. You're the guest here, homie.
Tape. I'm not against tape.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna limit a joint in your body, everything else up the chain should be not limited to. So if you have tight hips, we probably shouldn't be taping from a movement standpoint, unless you want to stand up like a stick figure, right?
Yeah.
And taping your ankles, you just can't get into certain angles with it on.
You're restricting movement.
You're restricting movement, so you can't get low with a wide base, right? You gotta, yeah.
Feet are probably
you
going to
see
be
where I'm coming from.
confined to a front-facing position. So then, if you do have to require some extra, rotation of the hip outside, and then now your foot's not able to do that, and then your hip is also tight, then the thing in the middle is going to unfortunately get very aggressively strained.
Exactly.
All that torque's got to go somewhere.
Exactly.
And then now it's inside your knee.
Exactly.
And that's not fun.
But that's not to say I'm against it, because I told a kid to tape during playoffs. He's the best player on the team, rebounds a lot, tall kid, always in the paint where it's crowded. So I said the last thing we want is a rolled ankle, and then your playoff chances go down. So let's just tape. You don't play in wide stances anyways. Your game's not around that. Your game is about getting tall and walling up. So let's tape, right?
It makes sense for that athlete.
It makes sense for that athlete. If it was a guard that's very shifty and gets wide bases and decels in low positions, we're probably not taping. Let's double down on ankle preventive stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So things like that.
What are your favorite decel exercises, or what are you using for? I know it's different depending on the athlete, but what are your favorite go-tos?
Depends on time of year. If it's in season, we'll do like dropping into while holding weight, dropping into positions, holding weight, banded resisted or assisted stuff, where the band pulls you in and you're responsible for decelling properly. If it's off season, we do a lot of like band, but I try to tell skill development coaches on the court, hey, I'm gonna take care of like the force stuff, take care of the skill work stuff, because you got to be able to transfer it anyways. So build the strength first, then be able to get into those positions fast, and then transfer it onto court and sport. That's how we approach things.
Do you like more unilateral movements or more bilateral movements? Or does it depend on the athlete?
Depends on the athlete.
Of course. Yeah.
Um,
So what athlete would need more unilateral stuff versus what athlete maybe need a bilateral kind of focus program?
Depends on position. To me, it depends on position in sport. But it also depends on the age of the athlete. If it's a young kid, we should be doing both. We should be getting better at both. If it's like a more of a pro player, what looks comfortable for them. Some of these long lever guys, you put them on a back squat, it looks so uncomfortable. So why force that when they're very successful at what they do now? Let's find out what's making them like feel comfortable in the weight room
and still having the progress you want.
Exactly. So whether it's a leg press machine or whether it's a step up or a split squat instead of a two foot.
I like it.
Right?
I like it. Do you do a lot of bodyweight stuff?
We do.
Tell me like what?
Almost everything, man. We lean towards bodyweight stuff to go into more positional feel things, just to feel positions, all isometrics to start off, but eventually we're going to load that thing up, right? More isolating like hip or knee if we want to, or just like plyometric stuff. We're big on plyometric stuff.
That's like your life.
Yeah.
That's the game of a basketball player, right? It's very
exactly.
very plyo.
With athletes, are we bodybuilders or are we athletes? Plyometrics are the name of the game.
They are the
right?
name of the game. So, do you ever do depth drops, and do you think they're overused, or do you think that they are appropriate?
Depth drops. I like them to a certain extent. I think at a certain, if you asked me this 2 years ago, I'd been like, oh yeah, we use them all the time, right? And I think it's taken its course on social media
Yeah.
to a point where it's like, I think it's become overrated.
Fair.
But there is a value in depth drops, in my personal opinion. It's just like ISOs, right? I think at a certain time, ISOs have become extremely overrated.
Yeah.
Does it have its value? A lot. Like it does, but there's other things in ISOs that can create adaptations. It's up to you as a coach how you want to do it, right?
That's fair.
So,
Do you so you have force plates. Do you guys do any mid thigh pulls ever? Do you guys ever test for that?
we do. We, depending on the athlete, again.
Yeah.
If it's a young athlete that doesn't know how to grip the bar, we lean towards a quarter, like a jump based squat.
CMJ.
More of a squat testing.
Oh, okay.
Maximal squat testing, where the
Okay.
chain attaches to a squat belt, whatever their CMJ drop is. So like the bottom of their jump, we equate that to that's how low they get, to find out the strength based on that. Because sometimes mid thigh pull, the grip strength
Is the biggest.
is the biggest factor.
Do you guys ever use straps for that or no?
No straps.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know why we've never. I think from a comfortability thing, if they're not used to gripping from their, like holding from their arms
Yeah.
and then pulling from the hips, then it's probably going to skew numbers anyways. So
Fair.
that's why we kind of lean away from that. That's a good point though. Maybe the pros will use straps. If the grip
It depends on what we're testing, right?
exactly.
So if you're testing just mid thigh pull like that last
Mhm.
extension,
Mm-hmm.
then who cares about the
Exactly.
straps? The grip doesn't mean shit. It's
Mhm.
just I'm trying to figure out that position's power, right?
Exactly.
So I guess it just depends on what you're trying to test for.
Yeah, it just depends.
I'm doing one tomorrow, and I'm not
Oh.
super excited for it because
Why?
I am so detrained. I got sick and I was like out for 3 weeks, and so now I am like. This
Well, have you ever tested one before?
I have, but I don't have that information. It was at the university, and so I'd have to like go
Got
back
you.
and like ask and get it and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
So, unless they sent me the file, but I don't think so. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do a Wingate tomorrow. Have you done a Wingate?
No, I have not. That's gonna get you. Who's leading this?
I'm doing it with what's his name? He was on the show. Adrian Wolf. He's getting his PhD at UNLV, and he's doing it. I forget who his PI is, but they're running a study on. It's a guy who does a lot of TAC P stuff. So a lot of military training. So I'm going to be in a crouched position. I'm going to see how long I can go, and they think the stronger you are, the longer you can stay in this crouched position. So I'm going to do these two things. My initial test tomorrow,
Oh,
and
man.
then I think in 2 weeks or next week, I'm going to do the actual thing.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be. I haven't done a study in a while. Like been a participant,
Ooh.
and I haven't
You
done a
better carve up,
Wingate.
my guy.
Dude, it's gonna be
A lot of those.
no, this is water.
Those water?
Yeah. So I mean, I do need water too.
Yeah,
though.
you do need water too, though.
Water, some
But you know what I was
caffeine.
talking about.
Ooh,
So
boy, it's gonna be
yeah,
rough.
good luck, man.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it'll be fun.
It's cool.
Do you guys ever play with supplementation for your athletes?
Just honestly, if it's a kid, we don't
Mm.
mess with that stuff. Maybe creatine here and there, depending on the athlete. But other than that, if it's a pro, blood work, and then whatever matches the blood work,
Nice.
that's what we recommend.
Do you guys
So-
stay? Because I think that there are cool things about being a PT sometimes, and then there's some
Mhm.
things that aren't so cool. And I think I think that's kind of one and the same in this respect. There's a lot of trainers who end up like peeking their way over into like dietitian's like
Mhm.
perspective.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like, hey, yo, like stay in your fucking lane a little bit, you know? But it happens a lot.
yeah.
But it's also the client kind of wants that, you know, they're like wanting that information. So you feel
Mhm.
like you should provide that. Do you guys refer out ever? And then if so, who do you guys refer out to and when?
Depends on the degree of like like how much detail do they need. Then we do refer out. If it's something simple that the basic knowledge you should know.
How much protein should I be eating?
Yeah, stuff like that. There's even a time I took the whole precision nutrition thing, right? Went through the whole thing, and took some other nutrition courses so that the knowledge there is there. But like if it's something super complex and they want me to hold their hand through the process, I'm not doing that. Here's a dietitian, here's a nutritionist. Go talk to them. They can handle it. Let me do the performance stuff.
I like it.
But I like to tell everybody, if you can't get your nutrition right, we should not worry about supplements. Supplements should be a thing to enhance nutrition. Let's get nutrition right first. I think the biggest thing for athletes is they're just not eating enough or hydrating enough. So let's harp in on that first. Until you're doing that, then we can talk in more detail, whether it leads to referring or it leads to just owning in and just showing a few things. But unless they can, yeah.
What do you take? What is your training like? Do you train?
So right now, I can't wait for it to be done. I actually liked what it's done for me. So I'm running a marathon next Sunday, my first one, LA marathon. So I've been training for that.
Oh shit!
The nice thing about it is I've been able to eat whatever the hell I want, right? But I know after the marathon, I got to harp in on things. So yeah. Meal prep here and there just to flip the switch and get back into the more weights, because lately it's been microdosing weights. Right?
How much volume are you hitting a week of running?
Right, I'm in a deload right now, but the other week I was hitting like 35 to 40 miles a week. Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Are you
crazy.
Trail running? Are you outside on the street? Are you inside the gym? What is your ideal?
It depends what I need to do that day.
Okay.
There was one time a couple times I ran from Stephanie and Stephanie Horizon Ridges. I ran down Horizon Ridge all the way to 7 Hills. I ran that whole hill, the 7 Hills loop. Have you drove past there? I ran that whole loop, and I ran back to Stephanie and Horizon Ridge, and then I had to, because I didn't hit my mileage yet.
Damn.
I had to run around that neighborhood a couple times, and
damn,
yeah, that was one of my long run.
That's
days.
a long run.
It's a long run.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, man. I'm nervous, but I've had some setbacks here and there, but that's the name of the game, right?
Will you finish?
Yeah, I should be able to finish.
All right. Yeah. What's been your longest run so far? How long was that run?
23 miles.
Okay.
22, 23.
So you're right there.
Yeah, it tests you.
Right? It's 26.
It's a different mental test for sure.
The furthest I've gotten was 17. And I did it a couple years ago, right before I moved here.
Yeah.
I was watching a video like David Goggins or something like that. It was like, you could do anything you set your mind to. It's just pain, you know? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to run a marathon tomorrow.
Yeah.
The longest I'd run all that year was a 2-mile run. And I put my barefoot shoes on.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
I ran on
you
the
went
asphalt.
full Goggins style.
I went full Goggins.
Jesus.
I showed up 30 minutes late. So the pacer truck had already started coming out. And I was like, fuck it, I just got to hurry. So I started going. And then I got to mile like 12 or 13. And I was like, you can choose whether you're going to do the half or you can. And I was like, I'll just do the full. It's fine. I feel good. Like I'm beating all these people or passing these people up. And then like mile, 14, I was like, my feet don't feel very good.
Yeah.
Like this fucking hurts, man. Finally got to like walking, and then the pacer truck beat me, and I was like, I'm done. I'm gonna Uber home. Ubered home. My feet fucking hurt. Went to go get an X-ray the next day. I had fractures in all of my metatarsals, all the way, all 10.
Holy shit.
Yeah, not a good time.
Damn.
Yeah, not a good time.
Surgery? No.
No surgery. Yeah.
Damn.
It was wild.
Damn.
Never again.
That's crazy, man.
You gotta actually train.
You just
for this
scared the
stuff.
shit out of me.
Oh, you'll be fine. You actually
You just
trained.
scared the shit out of me.
You just
No,
you
yeah,
actually trained.
I'll
I
be
didn't train
fine.
for shit. You know.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions that are out here that I just wanted to go ahead and like refer back to. So, what separates the athletes who make it from those who don't?
The ones that are consistent. Eventually, that gets caught. It catches up to you. But I've seen some very skilled athletes that just turn it on at last second. But that's like the 0.02%.
You got to be lucky.
So if you're banking on being highly skilled, your chances are,
not very high.
Yeah.
Is discipline something you can teach?
Yes, at an early age.
At what point do you think it stops being able to be taught?
At a certain point, habits are made. Unless something drastic happens to make you change those habits or make you realize you need to change those habits, I think discipline is very hard to. It's hard to flip the switch. It's either you got it or you don't. Really, the way I see it.
Damn.
I don't know what you think about that, but usually it takes like a big life change to become disciplined. Someone doesn't just wake up one day and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna change." Usually, it only lasts like a day or two, right?
I think we see it a lot.
Yes.
Like, unfortunately, we see a lot of people who always want to make the change and do the thing and become the athlete.
And you know the New Year's thing, right?
Classic.
New Year's thing, or I need to get ready for this. That's usually a thing that changes their discipline.
Is that why you signed up for the marathon thing? Like to give yourself a goal?
I signed up for it just to do something for myself other than buying something or taking a trip. You know what I mean? That was like the biggest thing for me.
What does a strength and conditioning coach who goes on vacation, where do they go on vacation? And then what does their training look like whenever they are out? Do you think? Like whenever you go, are you in the gym? Are you finding stuff to do?
I am one that is in the gym sometimes. But I know that I'm training consistently year round. It's okay to take a week off, man. It's okay to take a weekend off.
It's fair.
If I want to lift weights, just because I love lifting weights, and I'm gonna go do it. If I want to go do some conditioning, then I'll do it. But then, that's me. I know some people need to stay on the program, but unless I have something coming up, like an event or something coming up, then I'll stay locked in.
Fair. It's probably the right thing to do, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, we're so in the gym all the time that it's like, check it out a little bit.
How do you stay motivated to continue your own program? Because I feel like after sessions in the gym, I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to be out of here.
Yeah.
And I train the same place that I work.
Yeah.
And so like, there's days where I'm just like, I'm just gonna go home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And versus I used to be the guy who was like, I'm gonna stay.
Yeah.
Right. So like, how do you keep yourself there, or do you train in a different place than you work?
Oh, I never train at our gym. I'm training 12 to 14 sessions a day sometimes. If I work out there, I'm going to go crazy, right? Or I just know if I'm working out there, someone might try to talk to me. I'd rather just be locked in, or I like being the guy that nobody knows in the space, right? But for me, just my own program, like, and you know this, like training enhances life.
Yeah.
So for me, like training enhances what I do in work, and it allows me to do everything outside of work that I want to do if I didn't train. Same thing goes for nutrition. If I didn't eat clean or I didn't eat enough, I wouldn't be able to train as many athletes as I did throughout the day. I'd feel sluggish.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I do what I do.
Do you fly to go see your athletes ever?
From time to time.
Do they fly to see you?
Yeah, from time to time. It just depends. Sometimes I don't like to do it because I don't like flying as much anymore. But yeah.
How old are you? Right.
33.
Okay.
33.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. You've been in the industry for a little bit. You've been doing this for a little while.
11 years. 11 years is crazy.
At what point do you think, like, is there a number? It's kind of like athletes as well, so I understand it's dependent, but like, after 10 years, after 5 years, like what's the mark point? You're like, okay, like you've seen enough athletes, like you're probably a pretty good coach. Like where in your head, where's that number?
For me specifically,
For
anybody,
like if somebody's coming out and they're on a podcast and they're like, I've been training athletes for 3 years, like is that enough, or is it like no, you need it like for me to listen to you? I think 10 years or 15. You know, like what's that number for you?
You want me to give you the realest answer
Yeah,
that I've always thought?
Hell yeah.
I absolutely hate it when people say, "Oh, I've been training for 10 years. I've been training for 15 years."
Why?
Because it's not an indicator if you're good or not. In my opinion, right? There can be a guy that's been training for 2 years and mentored under the best people, or training for 2 years and he took 2 years to learn everything and fast track everything. So I'd take that guy over the guy that has been training for 15 years, but stopped learning at year 3, right? So that's why I stopped looking at experience and I look at the person as a whole now and what they know inside here, because that's way more important than saying, "Oh, I interned with this place. I did this place for 5 years. I did this place for 5 years." Because Lord knows who, for 5 years, you were a bad employee.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't learn a single thing over there. You didn't pick up a book. You didn't read research. So that's why I think it's very, very irrelevant. And yeah,
makes sense.
That's why I hate the whole 10 years, 11 years type thing.
Makes sense. Yeah. Whenever somebody is looking for an S&C coach that's outside of their organization, what should they be looking for?
Like if they're an athlete?
Yeah, they're an athlete.
Outside of the organization. Yeah. So you're saying a pro guy.
A pro guy or even a college guy, right?
What should they look out for?
What like if I'm gonna try, I'm trying to get somebody. Like I'm going back to my hometown. I need a coach while I'm there. How do I select a coach?
All the cool exercises that they do.
Perfect. Yeah. I like it. I
didn't start from there. Right? No, you start asking around. You start asking around like, "Hey, I'm looking for a coach. I'm looking for someone that I need to train with for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Who's legit?" But also I'm going on social media or I'm asking other athletes in the city, who's good. And then I'm fact checking who they are as a person. I think that's the biggest thing is who you are. If I were the athlete, I would want to know who I'm paying.
Yeah.
Who can I trust, right? Because that's going to go further than what they know, essentially.
Does price have an impact on the quality of service? Just because I'm $500 an hour, does that make me good? Or oh shit, like that's probably a good coach?
No. It could be an indicator. If people are buying and they charge that much, but I've seen someone charge a high price and they're just very good marketers or they're very good with business. And sometimes I've seen people be very good at business and marketing, but their client retention is low, right? So that's why big ups to you. You sign 6-month contracts and people stay on, right? That's an indicator of, okay, this guy produces results. And every person's different. Like maybe people just keep funneling different people.
Yeah.
Or athletes. For me, my retention rate is high. It keeps the whole worry of when the next athlete is coming by, right? So that
I hate churn. I hate churn with a passion. So I was like, okay, we gotta. If I do a price point at $25 an hour, I'm gonna have a lot of churn, right? And so, or you could be giving great service. Like it sucks to say that, but like unfortunately, that is gonna attract a specific population that I maybe don't always want to work with, right?
Yeah.
And then also, is that worth my time? There's both of those conversations. Versus if I charge a little bit more, that person maybe sees a little more value, and so they're less likely to have more churn.
Yeah.
Which I would definitely have that person stay on.
It just depends what you want to deal with, right? Everybody is when you raise your price to a certain, you deal with certain individuals. When you lower it, you deal with certain individuals. I've learned that you should charge a higher price, just because if your price is a little higher, people take it more seriously rather than if they're paying a lower amount, and that means they're probably more likely to stay.
I like it. I would agree. Last couple questions because I have a client right after this. We have to head out.
For sure, man.
So you said AAU's coming on.
Yes.
What is AAU, and then what is the culture like around it?
The coach life around it, like my coach life.
Yeah.
AAU is travel basketball. My coach life is just making sure they're able to keep up with the demands of basketball tournaments every weekend, but also creating adaptations throughout the summer to still get them stronger, faster, and move better and keep them healthy. There's a way that we do that, in a way around all the demands and travel. Because AAU basketball can get very demanding with travel every weekend. They're playing like 6 games in a weekend. It's crazy.
Fuck.
It's crazy. But at the end of the day, like it's there to stay. I think a lot of people say, "Oh, you shouldn't play AAU." I think to a certain extent, some people should calm down on that. But if it's there to stay, you got to work around it. That's the reality of it. And so we found a system that works essentially to still create still better athletes while they're in the circuit.
How often do parents interfere?
I've been lucky that parents do interfere maybe at first, but I think there's a certain trust that has to take place, and I've been blessed to have parents where they really do understand, like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. We're gonna trust the process. I'll take feedback here and there, in which I do honor that feedback, and I do like. So I'll tailor the training to that feedback, but at the end of the day, they allow me to create that space where I can steer the ship, essentially.
Those are good clients. Those are good parents.
Yeah, I love them.
I feel like that doesn't always happen.
It doesn't, but I think everyone knows, like, I'm not afraid to fire a client.
I think that's an important reminder.
That's a talk for another time.
Yeah. Most overrated drill.
Oh, I don't know. Overrated drill. Start with what's your sled push.
Sled push. It's a good one.
We use it.
Yeah.
But I think there's other ways to create that, but I don't think it's all.
I would say an overrated drill. I think I'm going to go with depth drops a little bit.
Yeah, I could tell.
Only because I feel like people use them without really, because they saw it on social media.
Yeah.
And it looks cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, like when should you use it, right? Yeah. Like there's some more context here. Yeah. Not just like throw it in just for funsies.
Yeah.
And then so I think a little bit over, and it doesn't always have to be so high. Lord God, like some people just want to just fall off something tall, and it's like, why? What's the point, like, of this? You know?
Yeah.
So that one kind of does.
I think it has its place.
It does, definitely.
But I think people increase the box height from here too.
Yeah.
Without even waiting for the adaptations to occur, right?
Yeah. I see that a lot. That's frustrating.
Or just add some weight to a smaller box.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Yeah.
Right?
One thing every hooper should stop doing immediately.
Stop doing. They should. Oh, man. In any context.
Any context.
Stop eating fatty meals before games.
Ooh. Yeah. Is that common?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Why?
It makes you sluggish before your games. If you want to play well, don't feel sluggish. Save it for after games. After you just burned all those calories.
Eat a burger afterwards, not before.
Yeah. Eat clean before, eat a burger after.
What is your go-to meal if you're going to eat something like a pre-workout meal?
Pre-workout meal?
Yeah.
Something very, like, probably rice and, like, lean meat and veggies.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I used to do 2 baked potatoes with a little bit of butter, cheese, and then some sort of protein, like just chicken, just like mashed up. And it was my version of a baked potato that was just like good carb, good fat, good, like just clean, easy, good.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. All right, we got to go because I have a client and we're already over. So,
cool.
Thanks, man. Where can people find you? Or promote anything you want.
We'll put it in the details section.
All right, perfect.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's usually how it goes, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah, easy.
Thank y'all. Love you. Bye.